All right, we'll just give people a bit of time to come in. We'll just give it a few more minutes for everybody to make their way into the room. All right, well, we might make a start. I'd like to introduce Station Officer Rod Kinder from Springwood Fire and Rescue. He is going to talk to us today about home fire safety and what we can do as far as safety visits and things we can do to prepare ourselves around the home and get ready for, I guess, any events that could happen outside of the large events that we've been talking about in terms of bushfire and storms. There's plenty of things that can happen around the home, and Rod's going to be able to fill us in on all of those. So thank you very much, Rod.
No worries. Thank you very much for having me, Beck, and good morning, everybody. My name is Rod Kinder, Station Officer at Springwood Fire Station for Fire and Rescue New South Wales, and I'm going to present about safety visits today. So before we start, just a little bit about us. So Fire and Rescue New South Wales, we are the state government agency responsible for the provision of fire, rescue, hazardous materials services in the cities and towns across New South Wales. We're one of the largest urban fire and rescue services in the world, and we're the busiest in Australia. Last year, we responded to over 200,000 calls for assistance, not only fires, hazardous materials and rescues, but also supporting the RFS, SES Police and Ambulance New South Wales. So for us in the Blue Mountains, we have 8 fire stations between Glenbrook and Mount Victoria. We have 190 firefighters employed by Fire Rescue in the Blue Mountains. 45 of those are permanents at Katoomba and Springwood, and we have 145 retained on-call firefighters. We have 10 urban pumping appliances for structure fires, and we have 10 four-wheel drive water tankers that can be used for water supply or for fighting bushfires. In the 2021 fire season, we responded to 2,400 calls for assistance over the Blue Mountains. So what is a safety visit? Well, it's a personalised safety inspection around your home. We can advise on ways to prepare and improve on the stuff that you already have in place, and just look at what's maybe a bit strange around your house that you're not too sure about. Probably as you've heard in other sections, that there's over 28,000 occupied premises in the Blue Mountains. 7,000 of those premises are single occupant. So who could benefit from a fire safety visit? Anybody, basically. We tend to concentrate on the elderly or the disabled because they're a higher risk, and we do look at our higher risk categories. But anybody, families, couples, singles that wish to be more fire aware and more home fire safety around their home, we're willing to come out and see anybody. So when we come to visit your home, if we're targeting an area, we will do a letterbox drop a week before to say that we're going to be in the area and we're going to be door knocking. And if you'd like us to come and visit, just be ready for the day that we come around. You can also call us up, and at the end there'll be details on how to contact us, and we can come and see you individually either during the week or on the weekend. The visits can be conducted internally, or if you don't want us in the house, we can talk to you externally. Currently, due to COVID, of course, we're only doing external visits until the 1st of December, when we're allowed to start doing internal visits again. So on the day that when we come to your property, we'll come and knock on the door, bring some fire safety information and resources that we need. Two of the crew will usually stay out in the street. They'll check the hydrants to make sure they're clear and working in your street, check on house numbers to make sure they're clear, and look at the access to the properties in the area to see what we have. So the first thing we'll look at is smoke alarms. And the risk of fatality in a house fire is halved if the home has a working smoke alarm. We advise that smoke alarms should be checked every month and replaced every 10 years. The battery should be checked every year if they're that style of alarm, and they should be changed when required. And that's that when you hear that little beeping noise, little chirp, that tells you that your battery is low. Smoke alarms should be vacuumed probably every 6 months. As you can see in the picture there, that don't climb on ladders to check your alarm, just use a broom to press the button and check that it's working. By law, there must be one working smoke alarm on every level. The picture that you see there has other circles. If you sleep in a sleeping area, you should always have an alarm fitted in those rooms, and it's advisable in other areas. When we come to visit, we carry 10-year sealed smoke alarms. Currently, these are the ones we're fitting. It's hard to see with the thing. These are mini smoke alarms. We can put those in any room that we advise that you should have one. We can replace your old ones that are worn out, and that's free of charge, and that's to anybody that we come and do a visit with. Okay, moving on to the kitchen. So a majority of house fires do begin in the kitchen. There's a number of reasons for that, maybe unattended cooking. And of course, our saying is keep looking when cooking. Don't leave cooking on the stove and walk away, especially oil-based fires. Intoxication, don't be cooking if you've drunken too much. When we're looking around your house and we're looking at the kitchen, we'll talk about if you have an extinguisher or fire blankets, and we do advise that everybody has a fire blanket and an extinguisher in their home, and we'll explain how to use those items properly just in case you're not sure. We'll also look at how your kitchen's laid out, whether there's anything that we think might be a fire risk, and chemical storage as well, because sometimes people store chemicals in strange places in houses, so we'll look at that sort of stuff. Moving on to the laundry. Okay, the laundry, clean your lint filter after every use. We go to a number of fires each year, especially during winter, that are caused by people not cleaning their lint filters. So as soon as you take those clothes out, drop your lint filter out and clean it out, ready to go. We also have a look around at chemical storage again, make sure it's safe. And we'll talk a little bit about electrical safety as well when we're in your house, especially because it's a wet area. Moving on to heating. So as you can see the saying there, keep a metre from the heater. So if you're drying clothes, keep it a metre away, pets, kids. Put barricades up if you have kids. In the Blue Mountains, a lot of people have wood fires, and we advise that you clean your wood fire at the start of each season. So as we're coming out of winter and people have stopped using them, maybe a good time right now to get your flue cleaned and make sure it's ready for next season. Make sure you burn good quality dry firewood. Don't burn painted or chemically treated wood. We also talk about the outside heaters. So leave the outside heaters outside. Those patio heaters, when they're inside, can let off carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is an odorless gas, and it's a colourless gas, and you will not smell it. And if you're asleep, it excludes oxygen from the blood, and unfortunately you may not wake up. So just like while we have a smoke detector to wake you up, carbon monoxide with one of those heaters won't, because it won't set those alarms off. Okay, so some of the other risks around your home. Power boards. We advise on don't overloading power boards. When you've got high power drawer appliances, just plug them straight into the wall. Don't use double adapters on your power boards, because that can overheat them as well and cause a fire. When we go to candles, should only be used under adult supervision, and keep them away from curtains and other flammable materials. And you should always extinguish your candles when you leave the room or if you go to bed. And then wheat bags. A lot of people use wheat bags for injuries, etc. Make sure you don't overheat your wheat bag. Make sure it's in good condition before you start using it. People do use them to put them in their bed to warm them. We advise do not put them in the bed to warm them up, because there is a good potential to start a fire due to the heat in those inside your bedding. The other thing is electric blankets. Now, electric blankets, once you've used them, we've just come out of the cold season, we've taken them off our beds. Roll an electric blanket, don't fold it. Folding creates a crease. We don't want that. We want to roll the electric blanket. When you bring it out for next winter, lay it out on the bed, turn it on, just sitting on top of the bed, and that will tell you whether it's working before you actually fit it to the bed. All right. Then while we're at your house and we're going through looking at different things, we'll look at escape plans. So every room in your house should have two ways of escaping the room. One would be the door, another would be a window. If you can't get out that window, obviously it'd be a place that you could call for help from the neighbours or other people. We'll sit down and we'll help you design that escape plan. When you make sure your family gets together and you understand together where the escape is, we also advise that you find a meeting place outside your house. So the letterbox is always a good place to be. If everyone's together at the letterbox, when we arrive, we can make sure everybody's together and that no one's missing inside the house. All right, so if you want to book a safety visit, the phone numbers for our stations are right there in front of you. You can also go on to www.fire.nsw.gov.au. There's a safety visits tab. When you click on that, you can put your address in. It'll tell you what your nearest fire station is. It will also have a form there. If you don't want to call us, you can fill the form in. It will send an email to the station, and then the station will actually give you a call and book a time for the safe visits. We, as I said before, because of COVID, we're not doing internal safety visits until after the 1st of December, but we're quite happy to talk to you on the phone about anything around your home and book you in for when we're allowed to come out and do those things. While you're on that website, we have a lot of home fire safety information on how to keep your house safe. There's different sections for the season. So we have a spring, summer, autumn, winter campaigns and different things, including for those seasons. We also have recruitment on there. If you've ever been interested in being a part-time firefighter, our retains on call, you can put your name down, and when there is recruitment in your area, they'll contact you and get you to apply. And that is a very quick rundown on our home fire safety visits. Thank you very much. And if there's any questions.
Thanks a lot for that, Rod. That's very informative information. If there's any questions, please pop them into the Q&A box and I will be able to assess getting them answered by Rod. A lot of the information that's been getting presented across the day today will also be included in that resources book that I was discussing in the back in our last session. Looks like you might have answered everything really well there, Rod, because there doesn't seem to be any questions coming through.
Well, that's good.
And again, all of these sessions will be video recorded and will be accessible through your ticket. So if you wish to have a look at them later on, you can do that also. We have one question come through. Are the fire safety visits available across Sydney?
Yes, they are. And every fire station for Fire and Rescue in New South Wales does the safety visits. And when you go on the Fire and Rescue New South Wales website, which I'll go back to it. There we go, just there. When you go on to fire.nsw.gov.au, you can put your address in and it'll send it to whatever the nearest fire station. So if you live in Ryde, it'll send it to Ryde Fire Station or Parramatta. And they can come out and units, houses, doesn't matter. They'll come out and do a safety visit at any property.
For that, oh, we've got another one here. How long will the session recordings be available after today? Okay, well, yes, the session recordings at this point are available sort of infinitely. There hasn't been a time frame put on them, so you will have at least a couple of weeks to put them to access them through that link that you'll be supplied afterwards with the email. Okay, and I think that's sounds about it. So thank you very much, Rod, for coming along, and thank you very much, everyone, for your attendance and any of the questions we've asked. As we said before, if there's anything else that you'd like to have the answers for, just send us an email, and I can forward those to the relevant organisations to access the questions to be answered. So thanks again, Rod, and we will pop out now for the next session. I think we've got a little bit of time between now and then. So again, if you need to have a break or anything in between sessions, feel free to pop out and have a bit of a break, and we will see you in the next room. Thank you very much.
Yep.